And we're moving on because I have time, so new chapter. That one was a long one though. I think that was the longest chapter yet at almost 3 hours. But it did cover a lot of characters. So we're going into Mire. Yuka. Oh, we're gonna go to Yuka. Oh, that means Kazami. Oh, I know. Shiver shudder. Where am I? First thing I saw when I opened my eyes. The ceiling of dark, gloomy room with flickering, uncovered light bulbs. The random bursts of lights they shone through. Shone were so dim that they only just barely lit up the wood drain in the ceiling enough to see patterns in it. Ow. The back of my head hurt in the same way it would if someone had just pulled my hair really hard. I couldn't do anything about it though, so I just frowned and waited for it to subside. I wonder if I'd hit my head somewhere. Can't remember a thing. Suddenly realized that my feet weren't touching the ground. There was a cold sensation all along my back. I must have been lying down on a hard surface. I tried to move, but both my arms and both my legs had gone to sleep, and they wouldn't budge. I just have to keep lying here until I woke up. I gave up on moving and instead just stared up at the gloomy ceiling again. I don't like it. The wood grain looks like a person's face. I knew it wasn't exactly a person, but it really did look like one. And he was glaring down at me with an unnatural expression. It was creepy. Why does it look familiar? Where have I seen that face before? Oh, that was it. It looked like the Scream, that Munch painting we studied in class. Except this face was screaming in anger. He hated me. I'm really starting to get scared now. If only Big Brother were here with me. He'd just pat my head and laugh and tell me how silly I was being. Oh yeah, where is Big Brother? I was still a little disoriented, but I turned and twisted my head as best I could to manage to see if I could find him anywhere nearby. Why was I sleeping in a place like this anyway? And why wasn't Big Brother at my side like he always was? I remember bringing Big Brother his umbrella, then doing some kind of charm with his friends, and then I was in this old school building. And then Big Brother and I were looking all over for a bathroom so I could go pee, and we got separated. Big Brother. Why were we in the school to begin with? Maybe the charm failed, and this was our punishment. Ah, how right she is. Except it didn't fail. It technically worked right. Maybe I was the one who messed it up. I probably shouldn't have even been there. And if I hadn't asked him to help me try to find a bathroom, we would be separated right now. I should have just held his hand and not let go. I could have lasted a little longer without peeing. Then we'd still be together. What happened after that? That's right, I finally found a bathroom, and I went inside. There were people hanging in there, lots of them. I was so freaked out, I went back into the hall and collapsed into the floor, and then I was talking with someone. It was a boy who'd gotten separated from his little sister, I think. He said he'd help me find Big Brother. His name... That's right, his name was Yuya Kizami. It hurts, it really hurts. Why can't I move? Why? I then realized that I couldn't see my arms. Where were they? Why weren't they at my sides? They were still numb, too. I couldn't feel where they were either, but I tried my best to move them away. That sounded like rope. Am I tied up? I thought maybe... This is gonna be more like the anime and the movie now. I thought maybe the reason I couldn't feel my arms and legs and couldn't move was because I was tied up really tight and was cutting off my circulation. Come on, move. With some effort, I finally was able to move my fingertips. I started feeling everything I could, grateful even for a little bit of reassurance. I feel something. The rope around my wrist had been tied up tight and looped many times over, and with the circulation trickling back into my hands, it was really painful. It hurts. It hurts. I was so scared it felt like I'd forgotten how to breathe. Somebody's coming. Footsteps were echoing from out in the hallway. They stopped right in front of this room. Big Brother! Big Brother! I wriggled in place and screamed as loud as I could. I didn't even care about the old splinty rope cutting into my wrists and ankles anymore. Big Brother! Big Brother, save me! It's you! I'm right here! Save me, please! Oh, it's not him, I promise you. You shouldn't writhe around like that. The ropes will hurt you much more. Oh, Kizami. Well, apologies for the long wait. It's so dark in here, you must have been terrified. Episode Book of Shadows, Mire. Oh. Kizami? Are you alright, Yuga? He was looking at me with a caring, sympathetic smile on his face. He seemed to be really concerned about me. Oh, please save me. When came to, I was all tied up. You were indeed, and I'm the one responsible for that. I want to make sure I never got separated from my dear little sister ever again. Little sister? You, of course. That's why I had to tie you down, so you wouldn't ever leave me. Why? Kizami, are you joking with me? Why, you ask? What a silly question. I already told you, because you're my little sister. What part of that don't you understand? I don't understand it at all. I'm not... Well, you are still just a child, so maybe you're simply too young to comprehend. But worry not, your big brother will tell you all about it. Kizami, we're siblings, after all. We simply have to reach an understanding. His eyes looked like they were staring far off into the distance, like he was in a trance. I'm scared, big brother, I'm scared. Why was he doing this? Why did he tie me up? And why did he look so happy about it? I didn't get any of it. Every hair on my body was standing on end. I was terrified. Isn't there any way I can escape? The corners of my eyes were on fire. I couldn't stop myself from crying. Tears were flowing down my face like a waterfall. Kizami smiled, then reached out and touched my cheek. His hand was ice cold. It was like there was no blood flowing through it at all, like the hand of a dead person. I've been waiting so long for you to wake up. Now show me that spark of life. Put everything you've got into it and cry for me, Yuka. Cry as loud as you can. He slowly and heavily took his hand off my cheek and then began walking around me toward my feet. Then he gently grabbed my skirt with one hand and drew a knife from his breast pocket with the other. It's showtime. Oh dear. There. Just like that. That's the voice I've been longing to hear. The face I've been longing to see. It's only when one's terror and hopelessness reach their peak that the soul truly shines. I want to see more. Direct more of that at me. Yuka, I know you're capable of shining even brighter. Well, don't you worry. Your big brother will help you reveal that light. Covered in blood and writhing in pain. Oh, true suffering is a far, far prettier sight than this. What's wrong, Yuka? This is no time to rest. The fun is only just beginning. So why don't you try calling me Big Brother? Big Brother, save me. Big Brother, please come save me. Oh dear. What are you saying, Yuka? Your big brother's right here. Look, right in front of your eyes. No. My big brother is... The panic and fear just kept getting more overpowering. I think I was hyperventilating. But Kizami showing no mercy. Instead, he reached out and grabbed my neck. Living rabbits really do make far too much noise. Can't breathe. What a thin neck you have, so soft and supple. I can feel your carotid artery and your cervical vertebrae perfectly. These muscles, this curvature, so sensual, like it was made for my hand. Oh, this is not going where I want it to go. Is it painful? It must be painful. This is your fault, you know. I'm your only big brother around here. With that, he let go of my neck, but then hastily pulled the knife in his hand. Pulled the knife in his hand right up to my face. He made sure I could see every inch of it clearly and just held it there, slowly turning it for what felt like an eternity. Have you gotten a good look at it, Yuka? The knife was stained with red splattered marks. No, not even red, just dark. It wasn't a color I knew well, but there was only one thing it could have been. Blood. Oh, this? No need to worry. Kurosaki dirtied it a bit, but it still cuts like new. I was shivering so hard I could feel my teeth vibrating. A chill ran through every part of me, as if I were so afraid that I had actually lowered my body temperature. The chattering came from inside my mouth was getting louder and louder, to such an extent that even I was getting distracted by it. What a lovely face. My little sister is doing an excellent job, but her posings are in the way. Oh, wait a minute. Then I suddenly tore my uniform, exposing my stomach. What's this? Your belly is bouncy with like a water balloon. It must be full of guts. He laid the knife blade flat across my belly button, and then the sudden sensation of cold metal against my skin sent even more shivers up and down my spine. If it hurts, feel free to scream, okay? There's nothing to be ashamed of. That all you got? What's the matter, Yuka? You haven't given up yet already, have you? Not after I've finally gotten my hands on the little sister I've always wanted. My throat was completely dry. I actually wanted to cry for help, but the walls of my air pipe were sticking together. Breathing was hard enough. Answer me, Yuka. Yuka! No. That's a good girl. Now it's time for the main event. Brother, save me. Fear had taken over. I couldn't hold myself back. I knew it wouldn't go over well, and I knew I would hurt, but I forced myself to cry out. Big brother! I'm your big brother, remember? Apologize, Yuka. I'm sorry. Hi, Biwa. Now that simply won't do. You have to say, Big Brother, I'm so very sorry. Do it right this time. Big Brother. Big brother, isn't you Kizami? I'm not your big brother? You bitch. What was that just now? Did I imagine it? Oh, she's peeing herself. Hate me so much I make you wet yourself. Brother. Oh, how very interesting. Even in such an embarrassing state, you'll still call out for help from your big brother. Pitiful. You're my adorable little sister, and I'm going to make you feel real good. There's no need to lie there crying in your own urine. It's pitiful. Pitiful. Did I just look down at this girl and call her pitiful? Why? Why am I feeling pity for her? What's happening to me? Poor girl. How is it that even I can exhibit such useless, empty emotions? Is there still some remnant of potential within a man like me to birth these paltry platitudes? I'm not like the others, and yet even I keep telling you there's no way my little boy would do something like that. But I'm afraid it's true. Your little boy, you who brandished a pair of scissors with intent to harm a fellow kindergarten student. So you're saying this was done on purpose? By the time we arrived on the scene, he was looking down at his own bloodied hand and laughing. We've done everything we can for him on our end. How you wish to deal with him now is up to you. Please wait. I couldn't even manage to crush his eye. Ever since I was little, I've been unable to put myself in another man's shoes. I've possessed no sympathy, no empathy, and no respect for life. Slowly but surely, my parents started to see me like I was some kind of devil. They shunned me. They ignored me. They focused all their love and attention on my older brother and sister, on my highly successful and generally upstanding brother and sister. Everybody liked them, and I began to realize just how different life was for people who are well regarded. And since my parents had given up on me, those siblings were the only ones who ever looked after me. My brother was particularly obnoxious, always flaunting his honor student status and trying to make me into a good little boy. It was sickening. He'd use his standing as my elder to boss me around and would even follow me to make sure I was behaving. But I did fight back once. Back at elementary school, I stood up to my older brother. What the hell are you doing? Yuya, what did you just burn? It was an animal. Oh, are you mad because it smells? I just killed it now. So it still had some blood left in it. It was going to smell no matter what. Oof. Ow. What the hell was that for, asshole? Honestly, I had no idea why he'd struck me, but this was the first time I'd ever been on the receiving end of violence, and I was pissed. I tried to jump him, but he was just too big. I didn't stand a chance. Why do you have to have so little regard for life? How can you just kill another living creature? Why would you do something like that, Yuya? You shut the fuck up. I'm the one who found it. I can do whatever the hell I want with it. I couldn't believe the asshole actually threw a punch at me. I was determined to hit him back. I wasn't going to give up until I succeeded. Unfortunately, his size really was an insurmountable obstacle for me. My attempt to fight back was cut short by another, much harder blow to the same cheek. Now you listen to me. That was twice now. I was so going to make him pay. Damn it, just because you were born first, you think you're so tough. Well, if you were just a little bigger-eyed, you're not getting it. You need to grow up, Yuya. As long as you're not a complete idiot, you will understand what I'm telling you someday. Our physical differences aren't going to mean damn thing in the future. Mental growth is what matters most. I want you to become someone who can sympathize with the pain of that other people feel. I could have sworn I saw tears welling up in his eyes. The hell was that about? He just beat me up, and here he was looking sad. Damn it. I'm not like you. Yes, you are. You're my little brother. You'll always be my little brother. Nothing can ever change that. I can still remember what a disgustingly sentimental look he was giving when he said that. You can die too then. Just die. Die, die, die. I don't care if you're my brother. I'll kill what the hell? You cut it out. Let me go. Get your hands off me. Wait, asshole. Listen, mental growth is what matters most. Carve that into your heart. Never forget it. Fucking hypocrite. Ow, he acts all kind, but his punches hurt like a son of a bitch. Yuya, are you alright? You didn't suffer any head trauma or anything, did you? Just leave me alone. You may not understand what he's trying to tell you right now, but one day when you've grown up, you will. Neither of you know the first damn thing about me. Why? Why the hell was I the last one to be born? I want a younger sibling. Maybe then I'd have some clue about what the fuck you two are talking about, man. I'd love the piss out of the young brother or sister. And we do love you, yeah, both of us. We know that you're a good kid at heart. Come on, let's make a grave for this little creature, okay, Yuya? A trash can would be just fine. Yuya, if you keep this up, you're going to be alone your whole life. My sister grabbed me by both my shoulders and looked me right in the eyes when she said this. But I didn't care about the words she was saying. I just pushed her away. So you're doing this because you love me, huh? Don't act like you have the first clue what I'm all about, you lying bitch. Yeah, it's the truth. I don't trust you. I don't trust anyone. I won't lose to anyone either, and I certainly won't tolerate other people lying to me. Never. Not ever. Not ever. Oh, Kizami. You crazy little bastard. That's right. I've been like this for a long time. I've always tried to figure out how to intuit what others are truly feeling to get honest reactions out of them. No one seems to understand that I'm incapable of understanding the people around me. That's why I've made a point of studying the world and keeping to myself, simply trying my best to understand. I play the part of a loner. I pretend I'm interested in boring conversations and smile. I pretend to care about the problems of others and fake concerned expression. Not a single one of my classmates has ever caught on to the fact that it's all just make-believe. They greet me with smiles and I see through their lies. They all act like they can judge a person based on his outward actions, without ever even seeing his true nature. Every one of them is completely deceived by my act. They're all empty-headed fools worthy of only my contempt. Just like my brother and sister, unforgivable cretins who lie to my face. That's why I've decided to conduct a little experiment. A way to see if I can really understand other people and if I can make them understand me. I wonder if any of you are aware that all I ever wanted was to kill you. Like animals, humans are honestly only when they're on the brink of death. They all look at me right in my eye and engage me in real, true dialogue, with rare exception. A fine answer, just what I was hoping for. Show me more. Show me more of those naked emotions. Yes, sadly, I will not perform for you. I will not perform for you. There was one who held back the screams and the begging and simply passed away in near silence. The hell is that? You trying to stand up to me? It was a thoroughly unsatisfying tale. There needs to be more mutual understanding. I'd expected to see some change within myself after coming to this place. There was nothing. I killed, but felt no remorse, no sympathy, none of the emotions I was supposed to feel. Yuya, all life is equal. Don't ever forget that. All life is equal, huh? Yeah, it sure is. It's all exactly the same when it's snuffed out. Humans, animals, and filthy worms alike. But I suppose there is one difference, even if it feels the same. After committing the sin of ending a human life, there's no turning back, no redemption. I didn't regret what I'd done, but it did make me realize that I had no prospects now, no future. What was that? Did I just feel pity for someone? My stomach's all growly. Yes, that was it even then, this odd sensation of taking pity on another human being. You're really shaking, are you alright? I have to go to the bathroom. Not badly, Why have you held it in for so long? I was with my big brother until just a moment ago, but we got separated. Didn't you tell your big brother that you needed to use the restroom? I did, but we just kept finding unusable bathrooms. And I thought about going somewhere else, but I didn't want my big brother to see me do that, so... What a devoted little sister. Yes, this is what I've been looking for. A being far weaker than I, whom I'm tasked to protect. This is it. This is exactly it. Is something wrong, Kizami? If I had this girl by my side, this girl upon whom I actually took pity, then maybe there could still be a future even for a man like me. Indeed, if I'm capable of feeling sorry for someone, then maybe there still exists some means of atoning for my sins. If I could just live with this little girl. So how about it? Will you live with me? Huh? What? I think I'll be okay on my own. I'll look for my big brother myself. By yourself? Why? After I finally found little sister. Why must even she distance herself from me? No, no! Run, rabbit, run. Bad rabbit, you're coming with me. So you see this? You see, this is what happens when you disobey your big brother, Yuka. Oh dear. Oh my. Oh no. I've been screaming and crying so much that my throat was now bone dry. I couldn't manage any more than a whimper. My throat was actually in a lot of pain. It burned like someone had cut it wide open. Kizami had raised the knife as if he were about to kill me, but for some reason he just froze like that. But all I could do was lie there, struggling to breathe, and aside from this heavy panting, could only hear the sound of my chattering teeth. I don't want to die. I want to see Big Brother again, even if it's just one last time. I breathed in as deeply as I could, then mustered every last bit of strength I had. I wanted to call out with all my might. I wanted to call for help. Big Brother! No good. The sentiment was there, but the words couldn't possibly have been heard by anyone else, except the person I didn't want to hear them. Big Brother won't know to come help me if that's as loud as I can go. Big Brother! Screaming it. My strained scream seemed to snap Kizami out of his trance. He brought the tip of his knife down onto my cheek, but didn't break the skin. You do know that no matter how much you scream, no one's going to come save you, right? He was looking down at me with blank, empty eyes. It was like he'd just woken up from a really long dream. Big Brother is going to come. I was absolutely certain about that. He may not have found me yet, but I knew he was looking. He was worried and looking all over for me. It was only a matter of time. Big Brother is my prince, after all, and the prince always comes to rescue his princess. He's not coming. After all, he's already here. Your Big Brother is right here. He is coming. Shut your mouth. My struggle to get out the words came to abrupt end as Kazami's hand pressed down hard on my face, covering my nose and mouth and suffocating me. For all the pain and fear I was feeling, I knew I had a chance to fight back, so I opened my mouth and I bit down hard on his palm. I must have bitten even harder than I thought. I could taste his blood. It was warm and minerally, and slid down my parched throat, easing a little bit of the pain and dryness. He is coming! Big Brother is coming for sure! I just kept shouting. I didn't care if these were the last words I ever said. I had no regrets. I just wanted to cry out. Big Brother! He's not coming. He's not coming. He's not coming. It all happened in an instant. Kizami just grabbed his head in both hands and let out a cry of pain that didn't even sound human. What is it? What is this? What the hell is this voice I'm hearing? Did I really want a little sister? I did. I wanted a little sister. Someone weaker than I. Yes, someone who needed me. But was it really a little sister I wanted? That's right. If I had a little sister, I'd change. He grabbed his head again and began stumbling around. He looked like he was in real pain. There were even tears in his eyes. Damn it, God damn it, God damn it all. What does it all mean? I don't need a reason, not now. It's too late for that. This is who I am. This is what I've become. Everything is mine. I've stomped out everything in my way and held my head high the whole time. Are you okay? Does your head hurt? I have some headache medicine in my pocket. You could take some if you want. Uh-oh. Now his head's really gonna hurt. How has it come to this? If I had a little sister, maybe I'd have acted more like a big brother should. Yes, I'm sure of it. I'd have been just like my asshole brother when he was crying over me. Kizami? He fell to his knees and just stayed like that, not moving, maybe not even breathing. After another unnerving yell, the huge man with the hammer just stood there staring at me. He had blood splattered all over him. Somehow, though, I got the impression he wasn't going to attack me. Are you here to save me? He reached one hand toward me slowly and gently, though it may have been a little too slowly. He moved like a zombie, as if I were watching a TV show in slow motion. What's wrong? It almost seemed like he was afraid of me, but I was just a little girl tied to the table. What could he possibly think I'd do to him? Is there someone else here? He didn't answer. I wasn't even sure he'd heard the question. He wasn't looking at me, he was looking past me. I want to know what you're looking at. Killer. Oh dear. His mournful yell echoed throughout the room. Oh dear. My arms and legs suddenly went slack. I felt like I could move them now. Slowly I opened my eyes and confirmed that this enormous man had just smashed apart the drying knots that were holding my hands and feet in place. Ah, I knew I didn't have much time. I tried my hardest to wake up my sleeping hands and feet and shake the broken, splintering ropes from my wrists and ankles. Kill her. My arms and legs were still so numb that I couldn't trust myself to get out of the room safely. I had to think of something else. I had to buy some time. It seemed like the little girl was pulling the huge man's strings, and he didn't really want to hurt me, so maybe I could reason with him. What are you doing? Kill her. What's wrong? He suddenly doubled over and began clawing at his throat, suddenly in a great deal of pain. Reasoning with him really wasn't going to work. He was too unstable, and if I came down to me or the little girl, I was pretty sure I wouldn't win. Now might be the best chance to escape. The faucet, I don't know if it actually works. That's what I thought, no water. My throat is so dry. What do I do? There has to be some way out of this. Light the burner? Wait, light it? Sure, why not? It's not even making noise. Okay, coming out. Not working, I need to find something else. The bottle on the ground filled with transparent liquid. Take it? Sure. I wonder what's in here. It's not water, is it? Holy water! No, it's a hydraulic acid. Never mind, don't you? How long are you planning to squat there like that? Kill her. I say that I threw the glass ball at the huge man with the hammer. He flinched and settled backward, and the hammer was still raised, however, and smashed into one of the light bulbs on the ceiling, shattering it. It's dark, but I might be able to get away now. The feeling had begun returning to my legs, so I wasted no time. Habitually yelling, "Excuse me," as I left, I darted through the dark lab, using what I remembered as its layout to avoid obstacles and reach the door. Yay! Whoa. Hey, did you do that on purpose? Worthless scum! Fix it or you get no more reward from me. Just go after her already. Just like, How many times have we crossed paths with that girl now? Maybe she has the paper scrap to keep her safe. Her fate hasn't been sealed yet. I have to find somewhere to hide. I could hear the sound of someone else running, just a short distance in front of me. I couldn't make out who it was with a certainty, but I did briefly catch a glimpse of a figure retreating into the darkness, and it looked like Big Brother? That was Big Brother just now, wasn't it? I took off in pursuit. If this was Big Brother, then I just had to catch up to him. Big Brother! Big Brother! He mustn't have heard me. His pace never slowed, and I saw him disappear around a corner. He's not stopping. I have to go after him. Big Brother! Dear. Alright, time to search. We were just in the lab, so we don't want to go that way. We went around the corner. It's really cold in here. Yes. The wooden shelving unit with glass doors doesn't seem to be locked. Unfortunately, there's nothing useful inside. There's no time to search shelves anyway. I have to find my big brother. Much of roaring. Okay. Okay, we get it. He's on his way. We're sorry. Not in here either. Big brother? He'll find me if I stay in here. Oh, look at things. Okay. Go to 1A. Run, little child, run! Big brother, are you in here? It's Yuka! If you're here, please come out. He's not in here either, and I don't see any good place to hide. Floor seems like it could give way at any minute. I'm scared. Big brother, where did you go? Toynbee! He's not here, huh? May I have those fingernails? Wooden shelving unit. The shelves are filled to overflowing with human hair. The center of the door is latched shut again, but there's a hair all over the floor now and it smells awful. Even hitting it does nothing. It's Yuka, if you're here, please come out. What's that noise? Suddenly, my field of vision started going topsy-turvy. Was I falling? It was an earthquake, but there was more than just that. The floor beneath me was moving up and down in time with the earthquake's left and right motion. Big brother! I tried putting one hand on the floor to balance and getting back to my feet. I need to keep going after Big Brother, otherwise I'll lose his trail. I thought I'd done it. I was standing now and had started getting used to the vibrations as long as I hugged the walls I could walk. But that all quite literally came crashing down around me soon enough. A wildly shaky floor cracked, then crumbled, and I was free falling. Down she goes. I raised my head and found myself lying on top of a pile of rubble. It wasn't too much worse for the wearer, though, all things considered. Where am I? I looked all around me friendly, but saw nothing even remotely familiar. This was definitely someplace new, and it didn't feel much like a school anymore. The walls and floor were made from packed dirt, with only railroad ties keeping it all together. It's really musty down here. I knew I was underground. I had to be. It just felt that way. There's no windows anywhere in the base on the smell. There's no ventilation either. It's really hard to breathe. Oh no, Big Brother. Big Brother might have gotten caught off guard by the earthquake too. I thought he could be down here. It was a big one after all. Maybe he was injured. Maybe he couldn't move. I have to find him right away. I tried pushing myself up from the pile of rubble, ready to shoot to my feet and continue to search. That didn't last long, however. My hands and feet were still a little numb from the ropes, making it hard to keep my balance. I fell back onto my butt. My underwear was completely waterlogged, like a full sponge. It squished unpleasantly on the debris, sending a cold chill through my entire body. What's going on? I reached down and felt it. It was absolutely soaked through. It would take forever for it to dry. That's right, I forgot. I peed myself. I was so wrapped up in running for my life and chasing after Big Brother, I didn't even notice the wetness. But now I couldn't get it out of my mind. Ugh, it's so gross. Tears were welling up in my eyes. How could I be so pathetic? I forced myself to my feet, doing my best to try and ignoring the squishy sensation. I wouldn't be able to ignore it for long, though. My panties were noticeably heavier now, and the urine they absorbed was practically ice cold. I couldn't go on like this. I was going to get a rash or catch pneumonia or something, and every step was going to be its own form of mushy, gushy hell. What could I do? I could take them off, but then what? Carry them with me? Ew. Leave them on the floor for someone else to find? No thanks. Big Brother, Big Brother. I swallowed my pride, held back my tears as best I could, and waddled onward. Is there anywhere I can go to get these off? I think there's a bathroom down here. Is this an actual bathroom? There is no protective seals and No weird smells. The only bathrooms I'd seen up to this point were unusable. Charms on the door, mysteriously sealing the room shut, bodies hanging in the stalls. This looked to be a completely normal bathroom. Certainly the most normal I'd seen since getting stuck in this place anyway. There's a loose piece of wood on the ground here. This might be useful. I've got wood! Yeah, okay. I listened carefully, but any hint of response. There was a sound she heard. Holding my breath. I guess if somebody did respond, that was a weird thing for me to say. It would be pretty scary. There wasn't a single sound to be heard. The entire room was dead silent. The walls were made from packed dirt, after all, and there was a lot of moisture in the air. Effectively, this whole place was naturally soundproof. This is perfect. There's nobody else around. I backed away from the stall slightly and almost tripped over a fairly sizable crack on the ground, about 5 centimeters wide and a centimeter thick. This might be a good spot to hide them. Finally, I was able to get out of those waterlogged panties. Despite being alone, I still crouched down and removed them as discreetly as I could. I then stuffed them tightly into the crack and discovered the hole's not big enough. Some of it's still sticking out. If only there was just a little more space. What do I do now? I know, I can use this piece of wood to dig in there and make it bigger. So glad Big Brother didn't have to see me doing this. Please don't let anybody find me until I'm done. Especially not Big Brother. Not that Big Brother would be likely to wander into a girl's bathroom, but it was possible given the circumstances. So just to be safe, I figured it couldn't hurt to pray that didn't happen. Maybe I should stuff them down even farther. It'd be embarrassing if anyone were to find these after all. Okay. My underwear was now totally buried and out of sight. There was no way anyone could come across it if they didn't know it was there. Satisfied, I stood up. It's so drafty now. But it's still a lot better than wearing wet panties. It's been nothing but earthquakes since we got here. I wonder if this place will be okay. It seems even older than the school building. I peeked my head out of the bathroom and looked around. Nobody's out there, right? Big Brother! My voice echoed a lot louder than I was expecting. It actually surprised me, considering the wet dirt walls. I didn't think sound would travel that far. I'm scared. If any of Big Brother's friends are nearby, please. I really want to wash my hands. I began walking through the halls once again, this time a bit slower and more unevenly due to exhaustion. Poor baby girl. What's over here? Go in the boys' room. Or as you keep proceed about that. The door is sealed firmly. Oh no, just can't do it. Like always, one of the bathrooms must be locked. Let's go to the storehouse. Do. I guess I really can't open it. I wonder where the exit to this place is. Oh, we don't want to go in the death room, do we? No one wants to go into the... Let's go to the body pool instead. Nothing good happens in the death room. But only fun things can be found in the body room. The door to this particular room was shuddering ever so slightly, as if there were a breeze blowing against it gently from inside. I think I can open this. Slowly and hesitantly, I put both hands on the door and started to turn. I guess I can go in. Alright, let's see what's in here. I hope it connects to an exit somewhere. It smells awful. As soon as the door opened, even a crack puff of horrid scent slammed into my face and twisted around my nasal cavities like a jet of water. The smell of something rotting. I was instantly feeling nauseous and lightheaded, as if I were suddenly deprived of oxygen. I can't do this. I need to get out of here. That sounded like water. Is there water in here? Holding my nose, I stepped back into the room and crept over toward the source of noise. If there were water here, maybe I could wash my hands, I thought. Where is it? My extreme thirst came back full force. As well, clean water was the greatest thing I could have found at this point. I accidentally kicked over a bucket, spilling its contents onto the ground in front of me. Countless flies immediately flew out from the overturned bucket and began swarming all around me. Their buzzing wings sounded right up against my ears, as if they were attacking me. I let go of my nose and began flailing my arms wildly, attempting in vain to drive them away. I can't even see my hands in front of my face. I haphazardly stumbled forward and found my foot splashing in shallow liquid. Mere moments later, my hand came in contact with the wall. Sorry, Get a bunch of messages and appointment reminders. I have a small procedure on the 10th. Mere moments later, my hand came in contact with a wall and brushed against the switch. I heard a faint clicking sound and then... Bodies! No? The light blinked on and I got a clear look at the room I was standing in. What is this place? Are those bodies? A large portion of the floor had been dug out into something resembling a pool, which was filled with stagnant, discolored water and disassembled bodies. The bodies were decomposing a lot faster than they naturally would. On account of the wetness, most of them had swarms of maggots instead of faces. Several bodies had actually washed up on the ground outside the pool as well. These few that still had limbs looked like they may lose them at any moment. Their torsos were all swollen and black, and everything else was bone white. Why? Why are there so many bodies in one place? The closest body was spurting a sappy mucus from its nose and mouth and staring at me with an ugly, mean expression. The thick fluid coming out of it was reddish-brown in color. It seemed to be a disgusting mixture of blood and dead bugs. What's that sound? Some sort of huge door high along top of the wall opened up, and I could clearly feel a breeze blowing through the room. It was a trash chute. If I climb up there, maybe I can get back into the school building. But what is that? I can hear something. It's getting closer. I was afraid of what might be coming through that hole, so I put some distance between it and myself. Something heavy fell from above and splashed into the pool, spraying my face with rotten, stagnant water. A body! A body! The body that had just fallen into the pool of water was wearing a school uniform. As soon as it touched the liquid, it began bubbling and melting into it as if it were a bag of ingredients tossed into a stew pot. The poor victim's lungs floated to the surface, giving the whole scene even more of a sick, soup-like appearance. I need to get out of here now. I can't stay any longer. I dragged my wet foot on a dry part of the ground for a second or two, then made a dash for the door. As soon as I was back out in the hall, I fell to my knees in shock. I couldn't even move. The smell of death and decay was still sticking to me and still trying to snake its way into my nose. It was all I could do not to throw up on the spot. I hadn't eaten anything for hours, so not even sure that I would have actually thrown up, but I still felt like I had to, more strongly than ever before. Maybe it would have been best just to let it come out. I'm sure I would have felt better afterwards. But honestly, didn't want to see any of my own vomit right now. Not after all the other disgusting things I'd seen. I'd had enough. Why has all this happened? At times like this especially, I really longed for my big brother. If only he were here with me. I cried out for him in prayers. Big brother, please come save me. Come save me? I can't move. Is somebody there? Somebody there? It hurts. There's a little girl here with arms outstretched begging for help. I rushed over to her side. What's wrong? Are you alright? She was faintly glowing. Is she a ghost? Oh, my stomach really hurts, and my chest feels like it's on fire. She seems to be in a lot of pain, but all I can do for her is... Here, I don't see any injuries. Is it painful? It hurts. All I could do for her was offer physical comfort. If I rubbed her back, maybe she'd feel better. Thanks. I'm sorry. This is all I know how to do. It feels a little better now. Does it? I'm glad to hear that. The girl grimaced again, as if she were experiencing some new pain all of a sudden. You shouldn't push yourself too hard, okay? Okay. Did you get lost in here too? Uh-huh. I don't know. I just woke up here. Woke up? And I've been so alone. Oh, so you've been alone? You've been all alone all this time? You've been a real trooper then. I gently brushed my hand against the little girl's face, wiping away her tears. I'd only just met her, but I already really felt for her. She had it a lot worse than I did. So tell me, what's your name? Sachiko. Sachiko? Your name is Sachiko? Uh-huh. I'm Yuka. No one puts together when this girl gives her name, Sachiko, the Sachiko charm, and I'm thinking with logic, I'm sorry. I'm Yuka Mochida. Yuka, big sister Yuka. Big sister? You want me to be your big sister? Oh, it's just a little weird to hear somebody call me a big sister, that's all, but I like it. I took Sachiko's tiny little hand in my own and pulled her to her feet. There we go. You can stand, right? Sachiko's hand was so thin and light compared to my own. Not just light, it almost felt like it was completely weightless. I guess she really is a ghost. Sachiko noticed me staring at her, and I must have had a quiet look on my face. This seemed to bother her, so I did my best to force a smile. I'm sure she worried I'd leave her all by herself again, and I wanted to make sure she knew I was here for her. What's wrong, big sis? No, nothing. I was just thinking about something else. I'm sorry. Sachiko lowered her head and looked like she was about to cry. Why are you apologizing? Because I think I'm a ghost. I'm different from you, big sis. So I'm sorry if I scare you. Ah, it was just my fear really upsetting this little girl so much. That's terrible. I just took his hand in both of mine, turning to face her and ducking down a little so our eyes were level. It's okay. I'm scared of ghosts, but I'm not scared of you, I promise. You're not scared? For real? No, I'm not. I'm not scared of you, Sachiko. Big sis, are you going to leave me? I didn't have to think for a moment since I knew. I couldn't take a ghost with me very far, but in the end I also knew I couldn't just leave her. Well, will you come with me to look for my big brother? Your big brother? Yeah, he's really kind, really dependable person. I'm sure he'll be really nice to you too, Sachiko. Her head was still down, but her eyes were peeking up at me. She looked nervous, but for the first time since we started talking, she also looked hopeful. You don't mind if Sachiko comes with? Sure, you're not alone anymore. Yuka, your big sister's right here for you. I'd say I was lonely too. I probably wanted her with me just as badly as she wanted someone with her, ghost or not. Ghost or no. Come on, Sachiko, let's go. I turned to head down the hall, but was stopped by Sachiko tugging on my uniform. She was wearing a forced smile on her face, but still looked uneasy. Big sis, will you do what I say? What you say? What was she going to tell me to do? I was so surprised by the question, I wasn't sure how best to respond. The longer I thought about it, the more uneasy she looked, so... Your big sister will listen to any request you make. Really? Uh-huh. You can ask me anything you want anytime. Okay. It was clearly something specific she had in mind, but I wasn't going to push her about it. She'd ask me when she was ready. She seemed satisfied with my answer and let go of my uniform, and so hand in hand we continued down the hall in search of my big brother. I don't like that. She's gonna put me in the death room! I know what she's gonna do! Oh, a body. The set of skeletal remains. There doesn't seem to be any way to determine gender or age. There is a student ID name tag lodged in its eye socket. Ooh, that's nice. Identifying these remains is likely having belonged to a male or junior high student. Kyogo Shibuya. Fun shit there. Okay. We'll check everywhere else before we end up in the death room. Where we all die. Always. Either because I make a mistake or because the game wants us to. She's gonna make me go to the death room. Yuka, you die in other versions. I don't want you to die. I went through so much hell to save you in the original game. You will not die now. Again first. Oh hey! Well, doesn't seem like we can get it open. No, it doesn't. I wonder what my big brother would do at a time like this. Do you miss your big brother? Uh-huh, I miss him a lot. I hope we can get this door open. Another body. Human science center, like an elementary school student. Chihiro Tamamura. Alright, to the death room. I'm gonna regret this. I always regret the death room. I guess Big Brother really isn't here. Guess not. Sachiko, have you seen anyone else in here besides me? Uh-huh. That's all she said, and silently she squatted on the ground and wrapped her arms around her knees. What's wrong? Are you hurt? Big sis, I'm cold. Cold? She nodded firmly, almost exaggeratedly. I guess that makes sense. If a ghost can feel pain, there's no reason she couldn't also feel changes in temperature, poor girl. As if to show me just how cold she was, she then started visibly shivering. Hey, Sachiko, is there anything I can do to make you feel better? Anything? Huh? You've been through so much already. I don't want you to have to go through anything else, so if I can help, just tell me. In that case, can I have those? She was pointing at my feet. My socks? This was the first time I noticed that Sachiko was walking around barefoot. Ah! I was so busy worrying about myself and about finding my brother that I completely failed to pay attention to poor Sachiko's appearance. I'm sorry, I didn't notice earlier. It's alright. Sachiko shook her head. If I'm supposed to be your big sister, I really need to be more observant. I need to pay more attention. If I were big brother, I would have noticed right away and given her my shoes. But if it wasn't too late, I took off my shoes and socks and offered them to Sachiko. They were a little wet, but still better than walking on those cold dirt floors in bare feet. I didn't really like the idea of doing that myself, but just one look at the poor lost soul's shaking form convinced me I was doing the right thing. Thank you, big sis. Sachiko took just the socks, leaving the shoes in my hand. Are you okay with only socks, Sachiko? You don't want to wear shoes over them? I'm okay. If I took both, then you'd be barefoot. She flashed a gentle smile at me, which stayed on her face the whole time she slowly put on both my socks. I don't want my big sister Yuka to get hurt, after all. Well, that's very thoughtful of you, Sachiko. I patted her head just like Big Brother always did to me. I love you, big sis. Her smile had grown. It now stretched from cheek to cheek, and I began to feel like I'd do anything at all to keep her happy. I wonder if this was how Big Brother felt when I smiled at him like that. Let's do our best in here, Sachiko. Despite the severity of the situation, I was in high spirits. I almost forgot about how horrible this place really was. Do our best. Let's do our best to find Big Brother. Sachiko, did you say something? I thought that was a giggle, but it sounded different somehow, like her voice had changed to something else. Someone else's, or someone else was here. You're so cute. I just want to mess you right up. Huh? What? I didn't say anything. Oh, I guess it was just my imagination then. Was it they usually say in movies? Must have been the wind. Not too likely in a stagnant underground bunker like this, but still. I think I'm just getting paranoid. I need to pull myself together. I'm her big sister, after all. I put on the bravest face I could manage and marched back out into the hall, pausing only to make sure Sachiko was still behind me. Nope. Big sis. What is it? Is something wrong? It's my feet. My feet hurt. Your feet? The soles of Sachiko's feet seemed to be bothering her quite a bit. As we stood there, I noticed she was fidgeting in place, trying not to stand on them. Guess they would hurt, huh? They would walk around in just socks after all. She said nothing else, she just stared at my feet. She seemed to want my shoes now, but didn't want to say anything since I offered them earlier and she turned them down. So I just smiled and decided I'd offer them again. Do you want to wear my shoes? Is that okay? Of course, we wouldn't want you getting hurt anymore now, would we? What about you, big sis? I'm your big sister, so all would just be fine. I wouldn't accept any objections. I just took off my shoes and handed them to Sachiko without another word. Cheerfully, she slipped them on over my socks. They were a little big on her, but I knew she'd feel better just having them. Thank you, I'm really happy now. Let's get going then, okay? Sachiko wasn't used to such big floppy shoes. She took one step and stumbled forward. Right here, you can take my hand. Okay, big sister Yuka, I love you. Yeah, sure. Sachiko, I already looked in here and there was nothing to find. Let's head back, okay? Oh, really? Yep. Okay. Is it really okay to keep going like this? Let's go this way. Sachiko was pointing down the hall toward the spot where the earthquake had dropped me. This way? Is there something over there? I don't know. Come on. What was that sound? I want to go in there. In there? What room is that? That room is locked. It just made a sound like it unlocked. Is there something in there? Please, I want to go in. Well, alright, let's see what's inside then. Sachiko nodded firmly, then practically dragged me by the hand over the door near my entry point in this underground maze. this room is pretty big. Over there. Energetic as can be, Sachiko pulled me farther. No, that was not an energetic voice, but hey. She also has a very creepy voice, if you've actually ever heard it. Farther into the darkened room. Sachiko, wait! Ow. I suddenly felt a sharp pain in the sole of my foot and looked down to see what I'd stepped in. A nail? The floor here was actually kind of messy. It was bumpy and uneven. There were all kinds of tiny, sharp-looking objects scattered everywhere. Not just old rusty nails, but bits of glass, loose wooden boards with jagged edges and splinters all over them, and plenty else I couldn't even identify. I'm bleeding. So cute. Sachiko? What's wrong, big sis? Huh? You're over there? What was that voice I just heard? If there's things on the floor, glide your feet. Don't step your feet. Just slide. Push things aside with your feet. There's a desk in the corner of the room. Something seems to have fallen underneath it. What's that? It looks like an old instant camera. Sachiko bent down and lifted the camera gingerly as if there was some kind of rare treasure. Then she pointed at me and pressed the shutter button. Right. That startled me. It looks like it still works. May I have it? Sure, but isn't it heavy? That's okay. I'm happy. Okay, creepy. A set of bleached white bones in a heap against the wall. So tiny, probably a child. Oh yeah, Sachiko, how old are you? How old am I? Yeah, like, what age are you? You're in elementary school, right? I don't know. I can't remember. Oh. I'm sorry. Sachiko just stood there with her head hung low and a look of disdain on her face. She didn't say another word. It seemed safe to assume that she probably didn't have any memories from when she was alive at all. No, I'm sorry I asked. Don't worry about it, please. Okay, sorry. Looking a bit closer at the skull bones, there's student ID. Yukari Sakia. Stack of folded up Japanese style futons. Big sis, Sachiko is tired. Do you want to take a quick nap on the futons? Uh-huh. Carefully tiptoeing across the litter-strewn floor, nursing my sore and bloodied foot the whole while, I staked my way over to the futons. I didn't much like the idea of sleeping in the same room as a dead child, but I had to admit I was pretty exhausted too. They're a little damp and musty, but if we lay them out, we can at least get off our feet for a while. I'm so sleepy. Okay, I'm lying yours out right now. As soon as the futon was on the ground, as flat as it would go, Sachiko sprawled out on it. It wasn't long before her eyes started drooping. Yay, futon! Just seeing this innocent little girl joyously stretching out to take a nap was enough to lift my spirits from room, I hope. I'm so glad Sachiko is here with me. Thank you, big sis. Thank you too, Sachiko. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't here with me. She really must have been tired. She was out like a light the second her head touched the bedding. She's so cute. I should sleep too. I've been walking a lot. I hope that when I wake up, I'm back at home. I woke to find myself being shaken. Sachiko was trying to get me up, and her expression had gone white as a sheet. Big sis, big sis. What is it? She was on the verge of tears. Something seemed to have really spooked her. Did the huge man find us? Was she attacked? It's okay. Tell me what happened, nice and slow. I lost my hairpin. Your hairpin? When I woke up, it was gone. Okay, so that's all then. That's all? I'm sorry, I thought it might have been something more scary. Where did you lose it? If we look, I'm sure we'll find it. The two of us searched every last inch of the room. Me with a wounded foot, but we came up empty-handed. Sachiko, is there anything your big sister can do for you? The entire time was searched. Sachiko hadn't said a word. I was hoping invoking her sisterly bond might help cheer her up. Hair keeps getting in my eyes, and it hurts. Give me that thing you're wearing. She raised her right hand slowly and pointed to my headband. That's, I'm sorry, but that's the one thing I can't give away. As soon as I refused, Sachiko let out a faint, otherworldly groan. The next moment, her face distorted and changed. She no longer looked like an innocent little girl. She looked well and truly like a demon now. Sachiko? Give it to me! Give it to me! Look at her eyes alone sent chills down my spine. These were the eyes of someone who meant me harm, and was perfectly capable of inflicting it. What do I do? Give her the headband. I feel like if I stand firm, she's gonna die, but... Sachiko was continuing to groan under her breath, fearing what she might be capable of. I definitely tried to console her. Sachiko, please, I want you to listen. This is something my mom just bought for me, and it's a very important reminder of her. That's why I can't give it to you. Your mom? Somehow or another, that seemed to quell her anger. Her facial expression snapped back into that of the gentle, kind girl I'd been talking to all this time. That's right, I'm really sorry, but I have to turn you down on this one. That's from your mom? She was oddly receptive to this explanation and even seemed fascinated by it. Maybe I'd caused her to remember something about her own mother. She was a little girl after all, so her mom was probably really dear to her in life. Mom. She looked like she was on the verge of tears again. I was beginning to feel bad that I'd even broached the subject. Sorry. No, it's okay. She still seemed a bit sad, but she nodded. Maybe she understood that I wouldn't give her my headband, maybe she was okay with it. I live. Go back in the death and the body pool. Hey, Sachiko? Sachiko, hey, Sachiko. She wasn't even looking at me anymore. I must have really upset her. Listen, Sachiko. I can't give you my headband, but I can give you something else. Anything you want. Something else? Huh? That's not a lot I can do, but if I can make you feel more at ease, I'm glad to help. Something else. Alright, then let's go in here. But this room is... I really don't want to go back in there. Sachiko. Without a moment of hesitation, Sachiko had opened the door and walked right in. I didn't even have the opportunity to stop her. What do I do now? Apparently you follow her. First thing I noticed when I entered the room was Sachiko's form sprawled out on the ground at the foot of the body pool. She was twitching a bit and moaning again, but this time it sounded more like a moan of pain than anger. Sachiko? Sachiko, are you alright, Sachiko? I stepped over to her and turned around so as to put the decaying bodies behind my back and out of my sight and started shaking her. I felt like I absolutely needed to snap her out of whatever this was before something terrible happened. It exists. Thank goodness you're odd. I could feel her tiny cold hands on my abdomen through the thin cloth of my skirt. She was pushing me backwards with tremendous force. Don't touch me! I lost my balance almost instantly and toppled over. It somehow felt like my fall occurred in slow motion. The walls and the ceiling room grew more and more distant, but it happened gradually. And I felt the murky liquid on my back and heard the splash. I was in a pool of bodies. As I'd fallen backwards, it took me far too long to regain my bearings. I was submerged in that horrible tainted water, close to drowning. I finally broke through the surface and dodging the many dislodged eyeballs that were floating on it like peas in chicken soup, each one wrapped in dull red bulging veins. I didn't even want to think about what was all in the water I'd swallowed. Unfortunately, much of it was still on my tongue. My mouth was filled with tiny bits of pieces of other human beings. The taste was overpowering. I was gagging and belching so hard it felt like I was going to regurgitate all my internal organs. I tried to scream but could barely get out a sound past my foul, lumpy stew in my mouth. Big sis, you're disgusting. So gross. So chunky. I was losing consciousness fast, and I remember silently praying, silently hoping that this was all just a dream. As the world faded around me, I just kept focusing on that one last wish. Please let me wake up in my bed. Big sis, here. Sachiko? I had no other choice. I grabbed Sachiko's outstretched arm and marveled again at her strength. She effortlessly pulled me out of the water. My entire body, from head to toe, was covered in sticky, goopy chunks of unidentifiable human flesh from countless different people. I think I accidentally turned down my volume completely on my end. Big sis, you've got something on your head. Something? Might be. I wasn't looking forward to the answer, but I felt it was a huge clump of matter stuck to my hair, and just touching it slightly caused some of it to stick to my hand as well. It was a massive ball of fingers and toes. Ugh. Disgusting. Big sis, there's lots more on you. Severed digits were also sticky and slimy that they'd gotten completely wrapped in my hair like rollers. They weren't coming out easily. Is there even any sound happening right now? Sorry, I just need to check to make sure. That it's not just me. Yeah, okay, there's no sound right now. They weren't coming out easily. Calm down, big sis. Big sis. I must have passed out. When I came to, I was lying on the ground with Sachiko looking over me. Big sis, I'm sorry. She was on the verge of tears again. Wasn't that her voice I heard giggling at me? If not, then whose was it? Was I just hearing things? It had to be it. This sweet little girl couldn't possibly have been that twisted. No, it's okay. I didn't care how filthy I was. As long as Sachiko was alright, that was all that mattered. Yes, she was my little sister now. After all, I had to take care of her, and to look after her. And noise. Big sis, you're so slow. Huh? Wait for me, please, Sachiko. What's wrong with me? My legs feel so heavy. Somehow Sachiko had wound up on the lead and was following her blindly, struggling to keep up with her blistering pace. Big sis, you're all gross. Keep away from me. I looked down at my uniform. Sure enough, it was soaked through with blood of those poor victims in the body pool and smelled really awful. You're right, I'm gross. I'm sorry. I didn't recall saying that, or even trying to say that. It's like my mouth was moving on its own, speaking someone else's thoughts. Big sis, you sure are an idiot, you know that? Yeah, I sure am. If this was how she was going to treat me, then why was I being so nice to her? Why was I doing whatever she asked of me? It was bothering me, and yet it wasn't. I honestly didn't care anymore. I was content just to follow this abusive little girl to the ends of the earth. How long had I been walking, I wondered. Sachiko, are you still okay to walk? I was following Sachiko despite myself. I had no idea how much time had passed, but it felt like an eternity. And she completely stopped answering any of my questions. Guess that's enough. She came to a halt. What's wrong, Sachiko? She turned and looked to me with wide, innocent eyes. There's something Sachiko wants you to give her. What is it? What was it going to be this time? I honestly didn't want to know, but the question came out of my mouth anyway, and so did this. Whatever it is you want, Sachiko, you can have it, just for you. Well, in that case... Can I have your life? My life? Somehow, some part of me knew this was coming. It was only a matter of time. I can't give you... Once again, I couldn't seem to control the words coming out of my mouth. I just said whatever it wanted to say, regardless of how I felt. You may have my life? She was laughing again. It was wild, crazy laughter. She was ecstatic. No. Why not? You said you'd give me anything I wanted. Because you're my big sister, right? Sachiko's smile almost seemed to twinkle in the dull light of the corridor. She had the face of an angel, but it was all just a mask. I'm scared. No, please. I mustered all the strength I had, trying with whatever life was left of me to denounce her words and resist her pull. There was no hope for me anymore, but I still clung to what I could. If I could just reject her statement and tell her she was wrong. No, please no. Huh? Please don't joke about things like that, okay? Let's just hurry and find my big brother. Big brother will be able to help us somehow. I know he will. Let's just keep searching. Your big brother? That's right. I'll never be like Big Brother, but I'll try my best. Big Brother this and Big Brother that. God, you're annoying. Just give it to me. I'm going to kill you. I'll make you wrap those hands around your neck and die. Just die already. Sachiko? My body shook and spasmed uncontrollably. I was being overtaken by an invisible force. It was compelling me to speak, to say what would be my very last words on this earth. A suicide note. When you get right down to it. I guess there's nothing I can do. Okay. I'll give it to you. I'll give my life to you, Sachiko. It's all yours. It was instantaneous. With one single blow, my skull was cracked wide open and blood splattered far and wide. I feel blood trickling out from my nostrils and my right ear. My brain was jetting out from inside my head, fully exposed to the air, but I was still conscious. I could still feel everything. I saw a bright flash of light and realized she'd just taken my picture with that instant camera she'd been holding onto. Ooh my. What a pretty picture this is. I'll title it Lowly Woman. Sachiko was such a cute little girl before, but now her face was twisted into a hateful, spiteful grimace as she looked down at me in contempt. I know. How about I show this to Big Brother? You told me I could have anything I wanted, right? Well, he's my big brother now. Oh my. But she could be petting my sticky, matted head with her coarse, sticky hands and a mockery of my previous gentleness with her. What a filthy face. Getting this was my goal all along, you know. My scrap of paper? From the charm? I want to play with you again, big sis, so I'll spare you from your fate for now. Let's do this again real soon, big sister Yuka. Damn. She just never gets to live. Cleared. Woo. So I have one more chapter, but we're gonna do that tomorrow. Because it might be long, and I don't know if I want to do all that reading in one day. So, yes, we'll do it tomorrow. So, thanks for watching.